tell us quickly a little bit about the rig, because it's a bit special, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, as I don't know if you can see it, but it's a late 2006 LCR, running a reasonably large horsepower G6000. As I say, set up by Tim Reeves, his camp overseas, so sort of can't really get much better. So the two lemons are now us. We've got to sort of come to terms with the bike now.
Well, they had problems, as you'll have a look on the start here. That's Bron and Bilby down the inside. They hit the curb and then they get involved with Tim and Bert Wallen in the first turn of the first lap of the sidecars. Looks a lot worse than it is. Here is the onboard shot. You're on board with the Wallen brothers here. And really, they were the innocent party.
And had a sterler start. Unfortunately, got tagged into turn one, which has created a whole lot of grief for a few other teams as well. My deeper thoughts are obviously to my swinger, who is in the ammo bay at the moment, and also for the Wallen brothers, because they got involved with it as well. So, it's wrecked a few people's days. So here's hoping we can get back on track and get out for race 2.
Well, this is the sidecar feature event. Remember, there'll be no Wallen brothers at all. But the good news is that rig number 77, Steve Bron and Charlie Bilby, have effected repairs, and they are out there, albeit at the back of the grid at the moment. Number 4, it is out in the front. Stu Prentice and Dion Whedon. So there's been a few changes in personnel in the off-season, Pav. A couple of the combinations have changed, a new couple of bikes out there, and really the sidecars have ramped up over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, look, last year there was overwhelm of entries, and the organisers decided that they're only going to run pretty much the modern chairs this year. So the classic ones will have to run at things like the Pukekohe Festival. There's just too great a speed difference, Phil.
That's sort of taken away one of the crowd pleasers, the boys in the old Triumph. I mean, the crowd love that, but hey, they'll like this sort of stuff too, because really putting on a show there. Stu Prentice and Dion Whedon getting very sideways, but the rig to beat at Wanganui, and has been for the last couple of seasons, is the Sangyong rig in second place. Make that first place as they go across the stripe for the first of the 8 laps here.
The number 4 chair looks really unstable compared to that leading chair, doesn't it? You can see the side wheel flying up in the air. It must be 600 millimetres off the ground.
Well, out in the front now, it's Stacey Seller and Leighton Manel. Now, Leighton now owns the rig. Stacey tells me that this will be his last race. He'll retire after competing a fine day here at Wanganui, and Leighton will take over the driving. He's got to find a swinger. So that's just one of the rigs that have sort of made this increase. Of course, we've got Steve Bron and Charlie Bilby in the ex-World Championship rig from the UK. So these guys, the New Zealand guys have had to step up. The Lawrence brothers have done that, but unfortunately they haven't got their rig of choice out here today. There they are there, Chris and Richie Lawrence from Auckland on the Red Baron Motorcycles Yamaha. That's their new rig. They were going to run what they call their short bike, but they had problems in pre-season testing, and they've gone to the new rig, which isn't completely sorted. Well, you got to give them A for effort. They're trying. There's no doubt about that.
Maybe I should offer my services to sit on the side. That'll keep the wheel down.
Well, as you well know, Pav, I had a bit of a go on one of these things last season with the Lawrence brothers on your screen at the moment. And I tell you what, you don't only have to be a gymnast to be the swinger, but you have to have the power of a weightlifter. I mean, it is so hard, and especially around here, Wanganui is so unforgiving. You've got white lines, you've got railway lines, you've got curbs, walls in places. I take my hat off to these guys. They work so hard.
So do I, Phil. I could not believe how physically demanding it is to be a swinger in one of these things. These guys are athletes.
Oh, look, no question about it at all. Well, you get a look there at the 77 rig. That's the LCR Suzuki, the World Championship rig of Steve Bron and Charlie Bilby. Great to see them back out there. This is the battle at the front of the field, though. Now it's number 12, Adam Unsworth and Vince Stewart, battling with the Lawrence brothers, and also with Stu Prentice there on the number 4 with Dion Whedon.
The sidecar teams really have stepped up, Phil. But these LCRs, you're not getting a lot of change out of $100,000 for a second-hand one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's the way it has to be. If you want to go bigger and faster and better, I suppose it's going to cost a little bit more money. You certainly see that in this rig. This is Chris and Richie Lawrence from Auckland on their new rig. They'll be using this in the Road Racing Championship. They had decided to use their older rig here at Wanganui, but it didn't pan out for them. 12 just up ahead of them, Adam Unsworth and Vince Stewart. That's the battle for second and third at the moment. Out in the front, remember, it is Stacey Seller and Leighton Manel in the Sangyong rig. Look at this, close stuff in the sidecars. We mentioned it before, Pat, but Wanganui being mostly right-hand corners, it's very hard to pass on one of these rigs.
Yeah, it sure is, and that can sometimes turn into some pretty aggressive passing, and these guys have just got to stay cool. We saw a bit of carnage in one of the earlier races too.
So there is the race leaders, Stacey Seller from Australia, Leighton Manel from Wanganui. Now, Leighton's doing double duty this weekend because he'll drive a jet sprint tomorrow, so he's got to make sure he gets here unscathed, and he owns that rig now, remember.
Good to see Sangyong still involved too, Phil. They've been a great sponsor over the years.
Well, that's right. They've certainly helped out here at Wanganui in all motorcycling forms in New Zealand. Russell Burling and his team putting his money where his mouth is. There is the gap back to second place, and it's still rig number 12, but they haven't got it all their own way now because coming hard are the Lawrence brothers, but 12 holds on to it. Adam Unsworth doing the driving.
These things have been around here in 54 seconds flat. That's really fast. I mean, they're carrying two people. They've still got the same engine. They've got a bike engine, and they're really only like 5 seconds off a top superbike time.
Well, 55 and change is what Stacey Seller and Leighton Manel are going around with at the moment as we have a look at this enthralling battle for second and third. And I get a feeling, Pav, that the lap traffic's going to play a part in this one as well. Just saw a glimpse of one of the slower rigs up ahead, and that was rig number 88, Craig Bryan, and the TAP Motorcycle Dismantlers rig.
Well, the fields have been limited too, Phil. Remember, the post-classics and classics are out of this field now. That's pretty much all the modern fast ones.
Oh, and Unsworth just getting picked there as they go over the railway line and up through Suzuki into the S's, down past the cemetery they'll come now. So the Lawrence brothers move through into second place. Adam Unsworth and Vince Stewart go back into third. Race leader is still Stacey Seller and Leighton Manel, and they've got a huge advantage, and there they are now.
It's great too. The Lawrence boys have been right in behind the sidecar fraternity, and they've had a great push this year on safety on side chairs. We've looked at the engineering of these machines, and there's been a real improvement.
Oh, Chris Costello just about draping the flag over the helmet of Stacey Seller as they get the one to go sign. Lawrence is starting to close them down. Okay, the camera foreshortens the distance behind them, but these guys have got a bit of a race on their hands now. Nothing in it as they come out onto Taupo Key. Oh, I wonder if Stacey Seller's got a problem, because look at the way the Aucklanders are shutting them down. Are they going to go around the outside? They do. Oh, Seller must have a problem, Pav.
Yeah, that was too easy.
You don't pass that man that easily.
That was way too easy.
Heading up past the cemetery they go now, and it is Chris and Richie Lawrence in their second choice rig. They didn't expect this, I'm sure of it. Then it's Seller and Leighton Manel. Making a late charge there is Steve Braun and Charlie Bilby. Right in behind them, it's rig number 51. That's Tony Campbell and Lance Hart.
He's off. He's fallen off. The passenger's gone.
Manel's gone. Oh, and Seller doesn't know about it, and he can't turn the left-hander and slams into the hay bales. Meantime, the Lawrence brothers win an incident-packed sidecar race here. The Annandon Lodge Hotel bring it to you. Here it is on the replay. There goes Leighton Manel. He's hit the ejector button. And poor old Stacey Seller, I bet he doesn't know at this stage that he hasn't got his swinger. That compromises the handling of the rig. He tries to turn left, and it goes straight ahead into the Pirelli banners and thankfully into the hay bales. So, a fortuitous win maybe for Chris and Richie Lawrence. Adam Unsworth and Vince Stewart go through in second place. Then it's 4NZ, Stu Prentice and Dion Whedon. And in fourth place, number 242, one of the veterans, John Blameyers and Brent Sproul.
I was in third place going on to the last lap, and I got into second place, and I could see the leader was having problems. I knew there was a problem with the bike, or the passenger couldn't hold on, and I managed to get him halfway around the lap, and I understand he went into the bales without a passenger at the end. So